Good evening, everybody.
I just found the keys to a city. The beams are big and the lights are pretty. So why can't we get to the busy where the dreams are in the sky?
And there you are by Pogo. And yes, here we are. Welcome to Lost MANnerisms. This is our new hit TV show.
Well, hit YouTube series for now.
All right. I'm Forrest.
And I'm Al.
And we're going to kick this off by apologizing for our rough appearance, our rough audio, our rough this, our rough that. We're going from the beginning. We're learning everything. We're picking everything up. The set's still under construction. We're trying to figure out some of the best microphones we can use. Anything else?
Not really. Hopefully you'll all come along for the ride with us. We'll be kind of updating the set and updating our equipment as we go and as we get our footing. So it should get a lot better in the coming weeks.
All right. That sounds like a good plan. So we are going to first do things how we would in a normal order. And then when we get a little later, we're going to discuss the actual layout of the show. So the first thing we're going to kick off with is the drink of the week. And what we have here is a nice sidecar.
It's not a sidecar. I forgot all the ingredients to a sidecar, so it's actually a Moscow Mule, which really worked out. It's a pretty hot day here, and we're in a pretty hot barn.
Yeah.
So Moscow Mule's a pretty refreshing drink. For those of you that don't know, it comes in these fun copper cups, and it's made out of ginger beer, vodka, and lime juice.
I'm more of a fan of a Moscow Mule in the winter. It's one of those weird drinks because even though it's almost always the coldest drink you can get, it warms you up in the winter. I guess it's that whole Russian warm thing they talk about. But if you guys want to make one for yourself, it's a shot of vodka and half an ounce of lime or lemon juice, depending on what you're in the mood for. And then you just fill it up the rest of the way with ginger beer.
And ice. Don't forget the ice.
Oh, a lot of ice.
A lot of ice. And if you're feeling really extra, you can chill your cups beforehand, and they get nice and frosty.
All right, now we're getting too much into it. Let's talk about the news.
Great. So we're not really a news show, but we do like to talk about some interesting current events and mention some of the things that happened in the previous couple weeks. So why don't we start off?
Well, we're going to be a little behind on the news. We're going to plan to do our show bi-weekly. And right now, we've had a lot of people not showing up to stuff. Well, we won't make too much fun of him. We're going to get under that in today's skill of the week. A manly skill of the week. But we're not in your current news cycle. So what we're currently going to talk about is we're going to first kick off with a discussion on the North Korea summit that occurred. Alfred, would you like to bring us in on a little discussion about it? Just tell us what it was.
Much to discuss. Our president, Trump, went and met with the North Korean leader and agreed on some sort of nuclear disarmament. It's not the first time it's happened, but hopefully everything goes well.
Yeah. The one thing I will say is they never actually promised to give us... They promised us a lot in the past, but we made a move before they did. Whether it's a show of good faith or what have you, we paused our large-scale military training with South Korea. But on the flip side, since this has happened, they have returned some bodies of U.S. citizens, soldiers, whoever was over there. But the more important news for Lost MANnerisms, since we like to talk about manly things, and what's a great man thing to look at?
Oh, I'm going to let you take this. I know you've been excited about this all week.
I'm really excited about this. So I like to think a great thing to look at as a man is a woman.
Or another man, if that's what you prefer.
Okay, I guess we have to be pretty inclusive here. But I like a woman. I prefer to look at women. Women in bikinis are kind of a fun thing. But as of June 5th, the statement coming down is to be more inclusive to women of all sizes. An extremely famous beauty pageant has removed the swimsuit and even the nightgown portion of its beauty pageant. These changes are being made so that contestants are no longer judged on their outward appearances. Now, pause for a second really quick. A beauty pageant is no longer judging on beauty.
I was a little confused by that.
Alright, okay.
I admire the sentiment they're, I think, trying to make, but I was a little confused by that.
It seemed a little contrary to its name, but they've decided to say, well, it's now a contest, not a pageant. So they're doing this so that the contestants are no longer judged on their outward appearance, but now the judges will focus on the beauty pageant contestants' talents, intelligence, and ideas. We can now be excited to look forward towards the beauty from within, the inner beauties like...
I think it's great that Americans are able to choose one or the other. We live in a land where you can choose same-sex marriage or opposite marriage.
Oh boy.
That one makes sense, I think.
Opposite... Well, okay.
I think that one makes sense.
This one's great. This one, that one makes a little sense, but, you know, sometimes words are difficult. A better one, these are going to keep getting better, I promise. A better one is we are truly in the land of the great. From the rocky shores of Hawaii to the beautiful sandy shores of Hawaii, America is our home.
Well, this was from a girl from Hawaii, so understandable.
Yeah, but don't you normally be like, well, from the sandy beaches of Hawaii to
literally
the beautiful...
anywhere else?
Literally anywhere else. Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
I understand what she was trying to say, so let's go on to the next one.
Okay. This one is interesting.
This one is, I hear your question and refuse to answer or express an opinion because everyone has a right to an opinion.
That might not be the most, profound statement ever made.
You know, she's right. I think she just got a little confused with what she was trying to say.
So far all of these people seem confused.
Yeah. These all fall into a category that I like to kind of call not technically incorrect.
We should make a segment about not technically incorrect.
We should. I love those. It reminds me of being in school when you put down an answer that is technically not incorrect.
Yeah. Look forward to not technically incorrect. Anyway, this one's my personal favorite.
This is the best.
This is kind of... Now, it wasn't said by someone who was in the Miss America competition. It was... I don't want to get it wrong, but it was Miss something in another country, and I think she made it to the Miss Universe competition, but this would file under wholly incorrect. Confucius was one of whom invented confusion, and that's why one of the most ancient, he was one of the Japanese, who was one of the most ancient.
Very eloquent.
Now, I'm worried that something got lost in translation, but he invented confusion, so who knows?
Okay, well that wraps up our...
we got two...
we have more?
We had
more
two
topics.
quick news things we wanted to touch on that have happened more recently than people not showing up for filming. There's an immigration discussion going on again.
There is, and we will not be partaking in this discussion.
All right. Well, and then Saudi Arabia on June 24th lifted the women driving ban.
Yeah, officially.
I read this, and I thought that they already did that.
I think it was voted on a while ago, but this was kind of the official beginning.
All right.
Yeah, their new crown prince is really trying to modernize Saudi Arabia, and it's slowly but surely working.
But I thought that this was decided a while ago.
I think this was... Well, I think he was still in charge then.
Okay. And unrelated news, a very young woman, novice driver, rented a very, very nice Ferrari. I don't know where it was, but...
It wasn't in Saudi Arabia.
It wasn't in Saudi Arabia, but she turned off the traction control and destroyed a Ferrari. So
Immediately, almost immediately, within minutes. Which is probably longer than I would have lasted, to be fair.
Well, I didn't see what she looked like. So... By the way, if you see me playing with my mustache today, I'm not used to it being this long. But I knew we were filming, and I trimmed everything else. Wanted to give you guys a nice, fresh, clean look. I got in a fight today.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't hear about this. This is the first I'm hearing about this.
I won, but it was...
A fight with your razor?
No, it's not that bad. I won, but it was... It took its licks on me. I've spent all day in an attic. Now, it's... What was the high today? Do you have any idea without
Maybe
looking?
80.
80?
Think about 80.
No, it was hotter than that.
You think?
Yeah.
Maybe 85, and I spent some of it drinking beer on my deck.
Oh,
so.
you... And we're trying to keep curses to limit, so... I'm going to save mine. So... We were in an attic, and I don't know how many people know what about attics, but attics are typically about, on a sunny, hot day, about 40 degrees hotter than it is outside. And we got this fancy new thing. It's a fiberglass insulation vacuum. And it sucks up the insulation.
Oh, I saw that on your Snapchat story.
Don't say what that said. We have to keep this PG-13. So it shreds the insulation and put it in a bag. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever dealt with fiberglass insulation, but if you see me itching, playing, looking like I'm playing with myself, it's just because I have fiberglass in all my arms. And my mustache is long because this thing has these big 6-inch rubber hoses that do not like to get uncoiled. Now, I put this thing in its place. It did what I wanted. But the first one I pulled out of the box, they're 25 feet long, I pulled it out, and then it coiled right back up, came, smacked me in the face, gave me a fat lip for half the day, and I have about a 2-inch gash right here. So, yeah. That was, so I'm just not used to the mustache this long. Maybe I'll make it into a handlebar.
That could be good.
Alright. Hang on, we're going to take a quick break here, and then we're going to get to our segment. And we're back! I don't know if we're actually going to leave that in. You might get to see me say, and we're back, but you might not hear it.
Alright, so this would normally be our featured segment, but since we didn't actually film anything ahead of time, we're really just going to be talking about what we want to do with the show. So basically talking about the stuff we already talked about, but in a nice, easily digestible format.
You know, most people wouldn't go out on a limb and call it a segment. They just say, this is a such and such about this.
I think segment is actually exactly what this is. So
Well,
I understand where you're going. We'll get into that in a minute, but I think segment is the proper word.
It is the proper word, but why we're going to go out on a limb and call it our segment every time.
Well, we want to call it a segment because we really want to make as many puns as we can on this show. If you didn't catch the name Lost MANnerisms and the segments,
yes, that is getting into it. I like our name a lot, though,
I do like our name
because our name is playing on the puns, and it's allowing us to make fun of all the other man-related shows that
There are a few.
that ripped off our ideas, even though they made it first. But
It's crazy how that happens.
Yeah. But we went through a few of them. And most of them. And there is one that just drove me up a wall. And they talked about how to drink whiskey. And well, we're not going to get into it in detail this episode. Okay?
He called me up in the middle of the night to tell me about this and ask me how to drink whiskey.
They had like a umpteen-page article on how to drink whiskey, and we will pull it apart. But they used the word hug in a sentence on how to enjoy whiskey. They were relating it to the experience you might want to have. So something to me said that all of these shows, well, they were talking about the appearance of being a man. They were missing the essence of being a man. So while we're going to rail on all the puns and Lost Mannerism lets us make fun of all these other shows, we're going to just try to have the most fun we can.
Yeah.
And throw in as many puns as we can, so we might change our names of some portions of the show a few times, but
there'll be lots of man puns.
Oh, lots of man puns. Lots of men all over the camera. All right. So
I was gonna say some mental gymnastics.
Oh, Jesus. All right. So, Alfred, what is our first portion of the show?
So we'd like to run through the format of the show, basically, and get some feedback. So if you notice, we've been drinking the entire show, and we talked about that drink a little bit. That is going to be our drink of the week, and every week we'd like to talk about a new and interesting drink that we like to drink.
We're going to probably do a drink of the bi-week?
Well, bi-weekly drink of the week.
Okay, bi-weekly drink of the week. Is there?
Or would it be bi-monthly? No.
I don't know. I'm going to try to figure out how to put the word man in there, and we're going to keep going forward.
Right. The next segment we like to touch on is the news. And today we talked about.
Well, we don't need to. We don't need to talk
Miss
about
America.
Why are you repeating yourself? What is this, a monologue? Anyway, yes, we're going to talk about the news. We're going to go over big things. We're not going to talk about little things. At some point in the future, we might get into politics, but our panels are three hosts. Yes, I said three. How many do you see, Al?
I see one.
All right. Do you see your?
I do see.
Okay.
Myself.
All right. So there are two hosts here. One of our hosts has not shown up to anything.
He is not. No.
And we're going to have to learn how to censor stuff pretty good if he doesn't show up, or if he does show up in the near future.
Yes.
We're not editing a whole hell of a lot either. You're going to see mistakes. You're going to see us have fun.
Because you're not good at editing.
No, it's not just.
Be honest with everyone.
I am not good at editing. I'll get there. I do a decent enough job. It works. But on the same note...
Okay. We all get the point. So then the next thing that we want to talk about, which would be what we'd be doing now if we had prepped ahead and filmed something, would be our featured segments. If you want to talk a little bit about the featured segment.
Our featured segment, we're probably going to do it segment. There's a lot of things. I have an entire notepad halfway filled with ideas. We're going to go
He
over.
writes big.
I don't have any descriptors written down. It's just every page is an idea, and then we get to go into it. The first one you can probably look forward to is some basic checks on your car. When we go into our segment, we're probably going to be talking about things that men should know as a skill.
That's actually a really good point, considering that I recently had 2 flat tires that probably could have been prevented with some easy checks.
Well, it's tough. You told me you needed a rim job, so...
Well, I do need a rim job, but my car also needed new tires.
Oh, yeah. Well, and your rims are bad, so...
And my rims are bad.
So he needs all 4 rims. Checking the tires might not have helped enough, but maybe he wouldn't have driven on the tires.
Maybe.
So we're going to go over some basic checks on the car, but we also have ideas on the books like fishing, camping. Might get into a little hunting. I don't
probably talk about some sports too.
Sports. I don't want to get too into firearms on this show, but I think that you as the audience deserve to, if you ever get into a situation where there is a firearm on the table, I would, just on any table, most people would not leave it out, but most people doesn't define everyone, does it, Alfred?
No, it doesn't.
But I would like our audience to be able to
not shoot themselves,
to be able
someone else
to pick up and safely secure a firearm, be it loaded or unloaded, and then go report it to some sort of authority.
Right.
Or keep it.
Unless it's theirs.
What if it's a really cool firearm?
I don't think, well, I really don't know local firearm laws for everywhere in the U.S., but conceivably you could take possession of a legal firearm.
We're getting
sidetracked.
Anyway, the next portion of the show is going to be an option between 2 things. And it really depends on what is going on, what we have slated, who's available. We're a new show. We aren't going to be able to get the President of the United States down here on our show and to sit in our barn.
Stranger things have happened.
No, I'm not saying this on our show, but you know this story. It involves helicopters in my old property.
I know.
Anyway,
I've heard it a few times.
We'll be talking about if we can do a full show with people. What I want to do is go over a skill of the week.
A fun skill of the week, and more specifically, we'll be teaching a guest a skill of the week. I think.
Well, hold up. I think it's going to be a light skill of the week.
Right.
And then we're going to get into a man-on-man interview.
Oh, of course. Oh. There's going to be a lot of man-on-man action in this show.
And once we get to the end of the interview, we'll introduce the skill, we'll do the interview, and once we get to the end, we're going to test our interviewee on the skill of the week, be it changing a car tire.
Maybe tackling.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God. I don't like how that's going to go. So that's going to be our option A. And now we're going to make light adjustments to everything as we can. But option B is we're going to be discussing a manly job.
Mm.
And we're going to talk about some of the merits of it. Might get a little bit into the pay scale, but that's kind of regional, so it's really tough to get into some of those things. Like, I know
we'll discuss it and hopefully have an interview about it.
Yeah.
Because what we're trying to get at.
We'll discuss it and then we'll talk to someone in that field. We'll interview them, get their maybe pros and cons of it.
Right. So, after that, we want to have a brief history talk.
I like your emphasis.
I hope I emphasized the right part of that. And we know that most of history is about men, because men wrote most of history. And we'd like to pick out some interesting men that maybe deserve a little extra...
I will say,
time.
As much as I want to bite at the bit and do Teddy Roosevelt,
I think a little overplayed for what we're doing,
A little bit.
A little overplayed.
He is a very good manly man.
Yeah. But we're going to be going for maybe some less well-known manly men.
Is Genghis Khan manly?
He was scary.
Okay.
I think that works.
All right. So after that, we're going to get into new manly product news. We'll be talking about a few things.
Well, actually, since we're on that, we can jump right into the manly products.
No. Well, yeah.
I think
it's our last segment before our manly thoughts, our final thoughts.
Well, they're also manly. I think they're manly.
Our final manly thoughts. We have a couple new... We're looking at manly products. So these are things that... We accept user submissions on these things because if you go look at men's products, you have a hard time finding these things. You get a lot of grooming. I'm getting a lot of articles when I search men's products on, is makeup okay for men to wear?
Interesting.
What are your thoughts on that?
You know, if it makes you happy.
That
I
is,
personally would not, but...
I would not. I think it's acceptable if you're on a camera and you have a giant
start.
and you have a giant 2-inch cut, but you use your mustache to hide it. Your mustache should be manly enough.
That's what beards are for. They
Yeah.
hide half of your face, so you don't have to put makeup on.
But so we're going to get into things that we see as good manly products. And Alfred, you have a connection with import cars in a sense.
I do. I do enjoy them.
I'm more of an American guy. I take a Corvette over and Aston almost any day. But so I'll let you introduce this is the first manly product news.
Yeah. And
on Lost MANnerisms.
This is kind of an exciting one. And I didn't even know about it until reading the script. I'm ashamed to admit that.
What are you going to do when we have to talk about engine lube?
Hopefully I'll read the script then, but no promises.
Okay.
BMW is reintroducing its 8 Series Coupe. For those of you that remember, I certainly don't think I was alive when that was last in production.
I've seen them floating around.
I've seen them, but I think they went out of production in the early 90s. They were really cool cars, though.
They're big.
They were big, but they were kind of reminiscent of the old M1, if you remember that.
I don't follow BMW that much.
Okay,
there
we go.
Anyone that I've seen has been almost as big as an old Lincoln Town Car.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Lincoln Town cars, we'll have some interesting segments with the Lincoln Town Car.
If you're kind of picking up on some of this, there may be some foreshadowing in this episode.
Absolutely. But in any case, BMW is reintroducing the 8 Series, and I've seen some pictures of it, and it's really cool. It's supposed to have like 520-something horsepower.
Is it naturally aspirated?
Base. I think it is. I think the base model is naturally aspirated.
Nice.
If not, it could be their twin turbo. I know... I do like their twin turbo systems, though. They're good.
Okay. All right. So now this one is going to blow your minds. There's a lot of talk about Bitcoin right now. And it's getting everywhere. No matter where you turn, somebody's talking about Bitcoin. I tried to pull up news on Facebook.
Well, they usually don't know much about it.
Well, I tried to pull up news on Facebook and... because I heard that they had redone some of their privacy stuff. But all I got was saying that they made it so people can do Bitcoin ads on them. So we're going to do a Bitcoin ad. Well, not really. We're going to talk about the Block Box. So what this is it's a pre-built shipping container. And it houses all of the Bitcoin mining servers.
So everything that you could possibly want to mine Bitcoin on a almost industrial scale.
You basically take this giant container, be it, what are they?
It's
normally
a shipping container.
They're normally like 64 feet long.
I think so, yeah.
About 8 feet wide.
Yeah,
something tall. Container. You can stand up in it. But they're housing servers, and I didn't look at the ROI on it, but it has a very low cost.
How much is it?
It's $1 million.
Does this include all of the
yes
pre-installed
yes.
electronics?
Yes.
That's maybe not bad.
You just go there basically, and you probably have to get some huge 3-phase wires to it, and you just go.
Well, there you go.
And set it up.
You can start farming Bitcoins today. Or mining. Mining Bitcoins. I don't really follow cryptocurrencies. I have a life.
It's the way of the future. Anyway, alright, so I found this just on my own, but this was a CRKT, which is a knife manufacturer. They released a self-defense key screwdriver knife. And I'm sure you've seen some of these things floating around, because some of them normally look a little bit hoopty.
Yeah.
And they're like 2 little pieces of sheet metal, and they got a little tiny blade that's like an inch long, and you could almost like...
Oh, like a little Swiss Army knife, but less useful.
The knife's not that much bigger, but it's solid. And it's shaped like a key, but when the knife's put away, it's a screwdriver, too. And then we get to talk about rugged reviews.
Oh, rugged reviews. This part I'm a little excited about.
We don't have any reviews this week.
Not yet. We're going to be running our reviews kind of irregularly as either we buy things or we're recommended certain products. Or we're given
or if any sponsors want to plug and give us an example, a test of their product, we'd be happy to do a rugged review on it.
We will do a fair and well, I shouldn't say we.
No, it's not us.
No, we will be employing a completely unbiased and anonymous reviewer.
Why are they... Well, I understand the unbiased. Why are they anonymous?
Well, to protect them.
Protect them from what?
Companies, individuals, the government.
What, like them getting free stuff, or...
Our reviews are going to be completely unbiased, so we don't want any negative backlash.
Yeah, but the reviewer's going to be getting free stuff. How is he going to be completely unbiased?
Because he's anonymous.
But he's getting free stuff.
No, we're getting free stuff. He's testing them.
Oh, all right. I see how it works. So you give us your stuff, we'll review it.
We'll plug it.
Well, no, we'll plug it. And then we'll let our rugged reviewer
give an unbiased professional review.
Can we call it the Get? Can we call what's the reviewer's name? The Gets?
I'm not sure. I hadn't thought that far ahead, if I'm honest.
Would we maybe get sued if we used the Gets?
I think so. I think rugged reviews by the rugged reviewer is enough for now.
Okay. All right, so we're going to talk about right now our skill of the week. And now these are where we have to put this after we flip the cups over. We made a mistake.
There will be some continuity errors in the final edit of this.
Just the end, though. We're probably going to flip this right in after the rugged reviewer. Because I completely forgot about this. I didn't write it on the script, so this thing's goddamn useless now. I wanted to go over our manly skill of the week.
What is the manly skill of the week?
The manly skill of the week is keeping promises.
Isn't now.
And it isn't just directed at you. Now, he said he was going to film 2 weekends in a row and never showed up. We have another person, our third co-host. There will be 3 of us.
Eventually, there will be.
When he decides to show up. He promised to be a part, and every weekend he tells me he's not going to make it. But he tells me he's not going to make it, so how mad do I get at him? He at least... Then, we had a cameraman. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
I don't see a cameraman.
I don't see a cameraman.
I'm having to get up and sit down and walk over there and turn the camera on and off. He was going to help us write, too.
Really?
Yeah. This guy's funny. He's hilarious.
Oh, that's good, because I'm not funny.
Oh. He had some good jokes. He came up with our original name, and we were going to run with it for a month.
Well, until we found out that it was already taken, so...
Because it's such an unpopular name, but if we ever make a website, we're going to have an issue.
Yeah.
And that's the real issue. I would still be okay with calling ourselves by our old name, but I like Lost MANnerisms. I think we can poke at some people that way. So our cameraman, do you know how long it's been since he's answered me?
No.
I'm going on 2 months. Do you remember when we were at the shore a month and a half ago?
Yeah.
So it's been a month and a half since this guy's answered me. And it was his birthday. And I had this awesome gift for, like, when you create bonds with people, like, certain gifts are acceptable, so I'm not going to say what the gift is, but his birthday was this week.
What did you get him?
I didn't get him anything. I'll tell you, whatever. So, when we were freshmen in college, we were, like, the only people there on the weekends in our dorm. And we just wound up, when we went on drinking nights...
Remember to keep this PG.
It is. We wound up showering. They were not
PG-13, please.
Not in the same stalls, but we would go there and get we'd be like 2 or 3 stalls apart, and we'd bring like 2 or 3 beers into the shower, and if anyone dropped the soap, they had to slam a beer. Like, we had a good time. We weren't in the same stalls, I promise. But Duke Soaps makes it's a beer scented soap, and there was some other twist to it was a gift set, and it was called the shower beer gift set. But
Very thoughtful.
wow, that was loud. The whole barn shook, but he didn't answer the phone. And yeah, so I'm not much of a mudslinger normally, but keeping your promises, that's the manly skill of the week. We'll probably talk a little bit more about in other skills in the manly
skills.
character pillars of the week. And on that landmine, I think it's time to end the show.
Yes, finally, because my drink is done.
Oh, geez.